Friend This Jane's videos, and this is Nightmare House 2020 The Experiments Haunt Build Day 6. Now today I'm hoping there's going to be quite a few things done, but before I get to anything that is going to be done today, why don't I show you guys what I did yesterday? I didn't make a build video yesterday because there wasn't enough stuff that was done to make a whole build video, but I did some things and I want to share them with you guys. Now today is October 14th, and so we are just about halfway through October now, which means we've only got 17 days until Halloween, which is super exciting, and I cannot wait, and we need to get cranking down on these haunt builds, so let's go. Now first off, let me show you some stuff I got at Spirit the other day and I put up yesterday. First I got the zombie cat, because not only is this a cool prop, but I thought it would work well for the haunt, because he looks like he could be an experiment in a cage, because he looks very malnourished and underfed. He's very cool prop for sure. In $19.99, I couldn't pass him up, especially $16 with a coupon, 25% off. So that is really cool. But this is not how he's going to be in the haunt. This is where he's going to go, but it's not how he's going to be. I'm going to build a cage for him and then put him in that cage. So I'm excited for that. Now you guys already saw all this stuff, but you didn't see. You saw the specimens, right? Yeah, you did. You didn't see that I put batteries in this, but I might not even turn it on right now. I'll turn it on, whatever. I'll turn it on for you guys to see. I'm sure you all know what it does. It's a little plasma ball. It takes a second to warm up sometimes, or you need to touch it first, actually. There we go. Now it's going. Let it warm up a bit. There we go. So that's how it's going to be in the haunt. I've had this for quite a few years, but luckily I'm getting to use it in the haunt this year, which is exciting. There we go, there's that. Now here's the... Oh, I also got the dropping mechanism, which I don't have with me right now because it's going to go in the containment unit section, dropping bodies down where the bodies are stored for experiments, so that should be pretty cool. But let me get to the thing I'm most excited that I got at Spirit, and that is these lights. Now, if you guys remember, I was saying I didn't like the flame lights too much. Yes, they fit the laboratory theme, but I feel like they looked, like I said, they looked a bit too similar to last year because I used flame lights in the same area last year, and last year was a farm theme, and obviously a laboratory and farm are not similar at all, so I don't want it to feel anything like last year, of course. Now, the whole haunt itself does not feel anything like last year, but those lights just made it feel, they just brought back a feeling of last year, and I loved last year's haunt, absolutely, so they looked great, because they looked great last year too, but they, honestly, even though they kind of fit the laboratory theme, they don't fit the laboratory theme too well. I thought they worked perfectly for last year, but this year I thought I should do something different with the lights in this section, because obviously it's a completely different theme. It's a laboratory where last year was a farm. And so flame lights worked perfectly for last year, but not this year. So I changed them, and I changed them out to these, because I feel like these work so much better for a laboratory, and they do. These are short circuit lights, and they're fantastic. They actually have a rusted appearance. I didn't think they did. I put one there, and then one up here shining on Razor Tail. And also, look at this. Look what I found as a leftover at my store, which I'm still shocked about. I didn't expect to find this at all. They had a leftover rusty attic light, and I was actually, I don't know if I mentioned it in my video, but when I put the other one up the other day, I was really wanting to get another one for it, because these are the ultimate light for a laboratory theme. I mean, they look like old-fashioned Edison light bulbs. So these are the ultimate light for a laboratory theme, and I really wanted another one, but they don't sell them anymore. So I was so shocked and so happy to find a leftover at my store. I just had to get it, and I'm super happy to have it. And so that is really cool. Now, let me turn the lights off and show you the lighting in this scene. And this is how the lighting is going to stay. Obviously, the scene still has so much more detail to add, but this is exactly how the lighting will be. Now, it's a little bit bright right now, but then they start flickering. It only stays at the full brightness for about 3 seconds. Also, I tested it with fog last night, and it definitely makes it a lot harder to see in here. So I think the lighting is good. It looks perfect. It looks, and they all went out at the same time there because they're synced up right now. They don't remain synced up, but they're synced up right now. But yeah, it's perfect. It feels so laboratory-like, much more laboratory-like than the flame lights did, with the flickering. I love it. I think it looks fantastic. Let me cover up the door here so you can see. So you can get a better look at it shine on Razortail. It's super creepy, super cool. So obviously we know how these short circuit lights work. They flicker and then they go out. And it feels very laboratory-like, and I love it because these are definitely the types of lights I envision a laboratory having. And I wanted these ones for it. I just didn't know if I'd be able to find any good ones, but lo and behold, here they are. And they look perfect for a laboratory. And of course this one, which was already here, but then you've got the second version of it, which I put up there. These ones don't give off too much light, but that's fine, because obviously you don't want a haunt to be bright. I'm actually a little bit upset with how bright these ones are, but they're not extremely bright, and they are only at the full brightness for a couple seconds, like I mentioned, and then they go out. These ones are definitely the coolest, though. I definitely think that these ones are the coolest, but I can't only light the scene with these ones because they're just they're too dark to the point where you wouldn't be able to see anything at all. Whereas with these ones, ooh, the camera's out of focus now. Whereas with these ones, they can light up the whole scene so you can at least see stuff. But yeah, it looks fantastic. I love it. I absolutely love how creepy it looks and how much more laboratory-like it makes the entire scene. Like the whole electricity in the building is going wrong because it's an old laboratory. Now I want to mention the other day we did order some, I'll turn the camera around. We did order some new fog scents. Because you guys know I'm big on fog scents ever since last year. Last year I obviously used the campfire fog scent and the chainsaw fog scent because it was a farm theme and I felt like those ones fit a farm theme well. This year we ordered, let me turn on the light. This year, the other day we ordered, first off, some new swamp juice, which is my favorite type of fog juice from Froggy's Fog. We ordered that, some more of that, another gallon. And to add on to that, we ordered our new fog scents for this year, or my new fog scents for this year. So that makes me very happy. The fog scents I'm going to be using this year are, in this first scene I'm going to be using mildew, because it's a very old rundown laboratory, so there would be mildew, so it's going to smell pretty bad in here, but I'm excited for that. And then for the second half of the haunt, which is obviously, I've explained this, the haunt, it's supposed to be the same laboratory, they were just both built at different time periods, so you've got the steampunk section, and then you have the sci-fi section. So the second half is going to have the hospital scent, because I feel like laboratories definitely would probably have a hospital-like smell, especially since that one's supposed to be 1950s. Like I said, same laboratory, just built at different time periods because it was added on to. That section would be, though not modern, it's more modern compared to this one, so that one wouldn't have a mildew smell, but instead it's going to have the smell of, like, just different equipment they have in there, which I would assume would smell like a hospital. So that's going to be cool. Now right now, I do have a fog machine in here because I was testing it out last night. And this is where it's going to go in the haunt, because this is where Plague Doctor is going to go, and he's going to be having the fog. I'm also going to have another fog machine on this side that's going to hook up to sewer varmint, but it's going to be a 400 watt instead of a 1000 watt, and that one might not have the scent in it, but it also might. I'm not entirely sure what I'm going to do with that yet. But the fog scent that's in this right now is currently the campfire fog scent because it's left over from last year. But in a couple days when the mildew one arrives, that'll change and I can test the mildew one out, which I'm excited for. You guys can't even smell this anyway, so it doesn't matter. But let's run this and just show you what it looks like. As you can see, this is the really good fog. First off, this is a 1000 watt fog machine, so that's really good. But second, this is Froggy's Fog Swamp Juice, which is the best fog on the market. So it's good, it's very thick, and it lingers in the air for a very, very long time. It is the best fog I've ever owned, and I highly recommend it. And no, I am not sponsored by Froggy's Fog. I should say that. I'm not sponsored. I just absolutely love their fog products because they are absolutely the best in the market, and they are what professional haunts use as well. So they're the best, and if you have a haunt, you should definitely look into Froggy's Fog. So as you can see, it's kind of in that area right now because it hasn't come over to here yet, but look at how creepy that looks. You can definitely see it definitely makes it seem a lot darker in here. It definitely decreases the visibility a lot, so even though these lights are kind of bright when they're at their full brightness, The fog completely changes that. As you can see, Razortail looks absolutely horrifying through the fog. I love it. Everything looks great. And my reason for having fog in this scene, though it is going to be coming out of the Plague Doctor, no one's really going to notice when they're walking through it where it's coming from. It's supposed to be pretty much the steam, because steam-powered laboratory, so it's basically the steam. And the mildew is just going to add to the smell. Look at how cool this looks, though. I absolutely adore it. But enough with showing you guys the fog and the progress. Let's go outside, because I have something to show you out there. We're going to go out through this side door, which is going to be the door that's used in the haunt. And may I mention, I really like using this door in the haunt, because look at it, it's got a chain on it, which adds to the laboratory aesthetic. Alright, let's see. There we go. Alrighty. So you're probably wondering, what in the world is all this? Well, Haunt Former, Mac, so kindly, though I do already have a bunch of laboratory props myself, Mac so kindly decided to let me borrow a couple of his just so I can have some extra for the haunt, which is really cool and really nice of him to do. So I am very happy that he let me borrow some of his, and I haven't taken a look at him yet because he just brought them over this morning and put them out here, but we're going to take a look. He brought me Electrified Corpse, which I'm very excited to be using because he's going to go in the containment unit by Eddie. That's going to be great. Like I mentioned, I myself already have very, very many laboratory props, but the more the merrier, right? He brought over Spasm. Take a look at Spaz there. He's a Spaz, isn't he? He brought over Maniac, who is going to go in a cage. Should be pretty cool. He brought over Limbless Jim. Now, I don't know if I'm going to use him, but I definitely think I could. He brought over Toe Tag Corpse, because though I already have Toe Tag Corpse, I want 2 Toe Tag Corpses, so one can go inside the haunt, and one I want to put... I'll probably put mine on the roof, because I don't want to ruin Max, because he's letting me borrow it. And so if mine gets ruined, I'll be upset, but at least I didn't ruin his. But... Toe Tag Corpse, I want one on the roof like he's an experiment being electrocuted by lightning, you know, how Frankenstein gets hoisted up onto the roof. You get the whole idea there. So I want him on the roof. He's not going to go there until Halloween night. I don't know which one I'm going to put on the roof yet. I don't even know if I'll do the roof idea. I might just use 2 of them in the haunt because, you know what, why not? I don't know though, but we'll figure it out. We have some insects he made for his haunt a couple years ago when he did the sci-fi laboratory theme. He spray painted these. I didn't even expect him to bring this, but he's got another Frankenstein skull, so now I can have 2 of them. And here is Hazmat Zombie, which I'm very excited to be using. We've got the Fly Mask, because I'm definitely going to make something out of this. Something very grotesque. And then, there's the rest of Toe Tag Corpse, and we got the Distortions Unlimited, Green Martian. Fantastic. Okay, so I'm sorry I wasn't showing progress throughout the day, but oh well. Here is the slab, finally almost completed. They got to get some chains on here, but almost completed other than that, put in its place. This was put back on it because it's just easier than leaning it up against stuff. It was kind of hard situating this because if it was leaned too far back, it was pushing the wall, and the wall wasn't where I wanted it. If it was leaning too far forward, then the wall also wasn't where I wanted it. So I had to get it just right. Also, this is kind of, the slab is also used to block stuff in an area that I don't have a wall for. But, though, from this angle, you can definitely see there's stuff behind it. Remember, this part of the haunt's going to have a divider here, so you'll never see stuff from that angle. Guests will only see stuff, ever, from this, from this angle. When they're in this scene, this is the only angle they'll see stuff for. So I tested it out, and the whole time that they're walking through this section, you never see behind it. I mean, if they're right here and they turn around, that's their own fault, but it's going to be dark over there anyways. They probably won't be able to see anything. But yeah, it's perfect. Like I said, you can see stuff from here, but remember, divider right there, so No one even gets to see what's over in that section until they're right here. So that is perfect. Reanimated Corpse is exactly where he's going to go. Now my dad did this. He put an old belt on there for the straps that would go around his ankles, like he broke free from that. I really like that. I spray painted those a bit to make them look more dirty and deteriorated. I really like this overall. I think it's cool. He's a cool little prop that you see right before you turn the corner here. And I like it because also his arm, if you've never seen this prop in action, his arm goes out. And so I think that'll be pretty cool because he's going to be almost touching people when they walk by, so they're kind of going to want to stay away from him. I think it's pretty cool. I think this whole area with Reanimated Corpse and Razortail is pretty freaking awesome. So just take a look at that, and then remember there's going to be a divider here, so this all isn't one open space, but that's pretty cool. I'm really happy with it, and I really like how it's coming out so far. Though in a way you can't really tell that the slab is a slab unless you look down there and see the straps. Once the chains are on there, it'll be much more apparent that this is the slab that he broke loose from. This is typically how slabs would go, so it's just kind of hard to tell when there's a wall right next to it because it kind of looks like a continuation of the wall unless you kind of look at the little details, and not all the little details like the chains aren't on there yet, so it'll look fine. I'm happy with it. I haven't seen what it looks like in the dark yet, but I'm really excited to. I think it's looking pretty cool. Now there's not going to be anything covering that door, but that is perfectly fine because, I mean, that could just be a door to another part of the lab. It doesn't matter, but there can't be anything covering it because obviously we need to get in and out of here now, obviously, while building the haunt and also on Halloween night. So there's a very small path here, but yeah, that door always needs to be used even on Halloween night for actors to get in and out, for me to get in and out, as easy access to this part of the haunt. So that door can never be covered, but that's fine. It just looks like it's not really bad because it's not really an issue. No one's really going to notice it, and it kind of just looks like it would be a door to another part of the lab because there's not really anything modern over there. Now, high voltage, where is it? There it is. This right here is definitely going to go over here somewhere. I would like to put it on this wall, but I can't do that without this tearing the whole wall down. So it's either going to go somewhere back here, but I doubt that'll happen because then it won't be as noticeable. I'll probably put it on here, so I'm obviously not going to put any screws in here, so I'm going to have to get adhesive to put it on there. So not adhesive, but command strips to put it on there. But hopefully I can get those tomorrow, and I think that'll look pretty cool because with this already, that'll definitely cover this up as more of an AC unit because that stuff won't be showing anymore. It'll definitely make this look a lot more like lab equipment when this is on there. That'll be great. I'm not sure where I'm going to put these hooks just yet because I don't really know where I'm going to hang them, but I definitely want some chains and hooks in here because laboratories would typically have a lot of chains and hooks that keep the machinery running. So I'm not sure where I'm going to put these yet, but I was actually thinking that I wouldn't be able to do this until Halloween day because the garage door is going to have to be opened and closed until we open. Then it will just be kept open for the entire time that we are open. And this right here is what the garage door kind of goes on when it goes on its track. I'm thinking of hanging those up there because there's not really, I can't really think of, unless actually I could probably put some hooks up in there and hang them from there because I think it might actually look cool hanging from there. So I might actually do that. I might just get some hooks and hang them from there. That might actually be a pretty cool decision. As you can see, I've got my pumpkin spice right here. And here's Maniac. This is where he's going to go in the haunt, but he's going to be in a cage like I mentioned. He's just not in the cage yet. So this is exactly what this little section is going to look like. Just the cat and Maniac will be in cages. But I really love Maniac. Max just letting me borrow him for the haunt, of course, so he's not mine. He's just letting me borrow him because I knew I needed some victims in cages, and he definitely fits that vibe well. But now just using Maniac for the haunt, it really makes me want to get my own Maniac. Obviously not before Halloween because, I mean, I don't need him before Halloween because Mac's letting me use his, but after Halloween is over, I definitely am considering buying my own just to have it. Because yes, I can borrow Max whenever I need it, of course, if I ever need it in future years as well. But I would really just like to have my own because this is a killer prop. It's obviously made by Distortions Unlimited. I think it's one of their coolest ones, honestly. Because I'm really into Asylum stuff. I'm really into laboratory stuff, of course. Obviously why I'm doing a laboratory theme this year. This guy's more of an Asylum prop, though I think he works perfectly in the laboratory. He's just, he's super cool. He's a great prop. He's got so much character to him, and he's extremely creepy with this very realistic hair, too. He's just a great prop here, and I'm really happy that Mac's letting me use him. Among the others Mac is letting me use, because they really just add to the haunt. Like I said, I already have plenty of laboratory props that I'm going to use in the haunt, but being able to use even more really helps me out quite a bit. So, let me show you these, because these are kind of interesting. These bones, there was a dead rabbit outside my house. So me being the weirdo I am, I let it decay for a couple weeks, and now it's mainly stripped down to the bones, and I put the bones here because they just add some detail. Because obviously most of this stuff in this section, as you know, are real. These are all real specimens, real brain, real heart, real rat, real bones everywhere. So hey, why not add a couple more real bones, real chicken head too, and real minks. So why not add a couple more real bones, just as a little detail. And yeah, so I put those there. Now let me take you outside. I don't even have my phone on me. I'd need it for the flashlight, but I'll take you outside in a second. For the time being, I might glue this together tonight, because I said that that needs to be done. I might do that tonight just to get all the walls up besides the divider, which hopefully will be put up tomorrow. But I might glue these on tonight just to get this done so that all those walls except for that divider can be up. But we'll see what happens. I'm hoping to start the containment unit on Friday. We'll see what happens. It's either going to be Friday or Sunday because I'm possibly going to Hallow Scream this weekend. And so, I don't know, that would be Saturday, obviously. So I don't know if I will do any work on Saturday. We'll find out what happens. I mean, I could do work in the day, but I'd rather have a full day to start the containment unit. Because the containment unit, though this part of the haunt takes a lot of work, the containment unit I definitely think is going to take way more work because it's got a lot more rooms than just 2 rooms. So it's going to take more work. So there's still a lot of stuff to be done with just this scene of the haunt. There's going to be little details I'm adding here and there up until Halloween. But I'm happy with how it's coming along. Hopefully those giant gears will be done either this weekend or sometime this week. I'm hoping Sunday. They're going to go here. And then I'm hoping Rusty, which is the name of the robot, is going to go here sometime this week. I decided I'm not going to have him stand because the Plague Doctor is going to be standing on this side, so I don't want him to draw attention away from the Plague Doctor. So I think I'm going to have him sitting on the corner like he's kind of slouched over, like he's deactivated right there. I think that'll be cool. But yeah, really loving this part of the haunt so far. I'm going to see what it looks like with the lighting, with Reanimated Corpse added, and the fog in just a moment. But you'll see that in just a second. Alright, so, oh geez, no nighttime video with flashlight. I told myself I wouldn't do this year because I was rewatching my old haunt builds from last year to see how far done I was at this point last year, just to make sure I'm on track and I'm not behind. Obviously each year is going to be different though, because each year has different stuff to build. Last year was definitely bigger, but this year is more detailed, so I mean, last year was very detailed too, but this year is even more detailed. So yeah, it just kind of depends, because though last year was bigger, this year is still going to take just as much work just because it's more detailed. But yeah, I don't have to build any of the giant structures like I did last year, like the farmhouse and stuff. But I still have to do a lot of detail, like I said. I'm on track. I'm definitely on track. I wouldn't say I'm ahead of schedule, and I'm not behind. I hope to have the whole haunt completed by the 30th. Which is not something I've never done before. I usually finish it on the day of, though granted I probably will add things the day of. I hope to have it mostly finished on the 30th, and the reason why is because on the 31st I want to have time to set up the yard, so that's ready by the time we open, because like I said, the front yard is to draw trick-or-treaters in, but I can't set any of the animatronics outside in the front yard. until the day of so they don't get ruined. However, of course, you guys have seen the front yard. It's already decorated, but I need to set out the animatronics on the day of. But I'll probably add things on the day of, too. I was actually basically completed with the entire haunt on the 30th last year, but Spirit did not sell their displays until the 31st last year, and so the displays that I needed for the haunt, like the one I turned into the pumpkin patch checkout, you guys probably remember, and stuff like that, that stuff was not, I couldn't do that until the 31st, but hopefully, well, I mean, I don't really need any big displays this year. I think the only pieces of display I'm going to get are the vines to make a decrepit laboratory look, and for the plant experiment section, and the live animal crates, because I feel like those work for a laboratory, but that's about it, so it's not really anything big. So I'll probably have the haunt completed on the night of the 30th, so the night before, so it's not really a big difference, but it definitely takes away a lot of stress, because it used to be on Halloween night, Halloween day is when I used to bring out all my animatronics, and that was stressful. But I realized, why not bring them out before then? I mean, as you guys know, I'm setting up the animatronics in the inside sections of the haunt now. Even the containment unit is going to have all the animatronics set up as soon as I work on it because it's covered. However, the outside sections I can't set up until like the week of, but I used to set everything up, all the animatronics up on the day of, so that was stressful, but now I don't have to do that, which is good. But anyways, with all of that out of the way, yes, I'm on track. Last year, I think I had quite a bit done at this point, but this year I have quite a bit done at this point too so far, even if it doesn't seem like it, because there's not any big structures I've made yet. Remember, last year needed big structures, this year doesn't, so there you go. I'm on track. We're good. Halloween is only 17 days away, but I'm not worried that it will get completed on time because it always does. Actually, it's only 16 days away now. It's only 16 days away, so it's only 2 weeks away just about. But I'm not worried about it not getting completed on time because I know it will, because it always does. Sometimes it gets a little stressful, like how are we going to finish this on time? And then it gets done because, you know, stuff always gets done. I will never not let it get done. If I need to, I will stay up all night some nights just to make sure it gets done on time. So I'm never worried about it not getting done on time. Though there are only 16 days until Halloween, things are going to get done. So anyways, here is the start of the UFO. You're probably wondering, how is a UFO a square? Okay, this is easy to explain. This part was coming apart, so we glued this. My dad actually glued this. It was his idea to glue this, but this was glued. You're looking at it laying down right now. It's this right here is the base. So this is the part that's going to be touching the ground, but no one's even going to see that. This is just the base to hold it up. Now, it's going to be very hard to explain this, but these are bendable PVC. And so this looks like a square right now. These bend entirely to form a circle. So they are going to form a half circle because this UFO is crashed into the ground. So that you are seeing, what you're seeing right here, this is the back end of the UFO, and it's going to form that circle. We tested it earlier, and it looks magnificent. Obviously, it was just the structure, no actual detailing on it yet, but it looks like it's going to be massive. It's about 8 feet tall, 8 feet wide, way bigger than I expected. I expected like 4 feet tall, 4 feet wide, because I didn't think we'd be able to make one this big. But lo and behold, we're able to, which is insane, and I'm excited for it. I think it's going to be awesome. It's going to reach up to, like, right here on the tree that it's underneath, so it is going to be massive. It's going to reach out very far, too. It's going to take up all this space. It is going to be absolutely massive. I wasn't thinking it was going to be a full-sized UFO at first, but like I said, we're able to do it, and so it's going to be great. And now coming out from, it's going to be that half circle shape, and then sticking out from that is going to be a piece that comes out in an arc. So that's going to be the top of the UFO. It's kind of hard to explain right now, but you'll see it better soon. But I just wanted to show you that the base was put on, and it's just laying on its side right now. So it's very hard to understand what I'm talking about when it's just laying on its side, but yeah. We're going to glue. I think my dad's going to come out and help me glue that wall back together in a couple of minutes, which is very good, because like I said, that needs to be done so I can get that wall up. Not a couple of minutes, he said in a little bit, so hopefully we'll get that done tonight. But in the meantime, what I'm gonna do is check out these lights with Reanimated Corpse added, see how well it illuminates him. Also, this door that was broken got fixed, which is cool. My dad fixed that. That was great. It was corroded away ever since we moved into this house, so luckily he got that fixed. It doesn't look the best right now, but it's just a temporary fix. Since Halloween is only 16 days away, we don't really have time to be working on fixing the door right now. So that's just a temporary fix, but still. Good that it got fixed. I'm going to flip on the switch right now, just to give the fog machine some time to warm up. So I'm excited, and I'm really hoping that Maniac being right here will block some of the light from being too bright on this light. Because as I mentioned, these aren't extremely bright, but they're kind of bright. And so Maniac being right there, I'm really hoping it's going to block some of the brightness, and then that'll be good. It'll make it a lot more dim in here, which is good. So we're going to see what this looks like in just a moment when I turn off the lights. I'm not going to do it until the fog machine warms up because I don't see a point of doing it until then. But we're going to see what happens. I might add a few other tiny details to this section tonight, but I'm not entirely sure yet. We will see in just a moment what happens, but I might add a couple more. We'll find out. So I've got Reanimated Corpse running, but I remember last Halloween, I obviously didn't use him in the haunt. Here, let me shut him off real quick so I can talk. I obviously didn't use him in the haunt because it was a farm theme, and so this is the year that I finally get to use him in the haunt. Well, I mean, I used to use him in the haunt when I did multiple themes, but this is finally the year I get to use him in a haunt ever since I started doing one theme, which was last year. But yeah, I finally get to use him in a full-fledged laboratory haunt, which is exciting. But I remember last year I had him in my front yard display because I didn't want to neglect using him because I do love him. So though he wasn't in the haunt itself last year, because last year I did a farm theme, so he had no place in there. He was in the front yard, but I remember near the end of the night last year, he started to have some problems. One of his eyes blew out and his speaker kind of got a little weird sounding. Yeah, he's still got those problems, but luckily it's not as bad as I thought, because a second ago he wasn't even really working too well. He was turning on then off, but I realized that was an outlet problem, which is good. But yeah, it kind of sucks that the year that I'm finally using him in a laboratory themed haunt, the year that I'm finally doing a full laboratory theme, because like I said, and you guys know this by now, ever since last year's entire haunt was a farm theme. This year's entire haunt is a laboratory theme. I'm only doing one themed haunts now. You guys know this. We're already 6 days into the haunt builds for this year, and you saw last year, so you know this by now. But the thing is, I'm doing a laboratory themed haunt this year, and then he's not looking his best. But it is fine, because his speaker, it's not too big of a deal. He might even have an external speaker jack. I need to check, but even if not, it's not too big of a deal that his speaker's not the best, because it'll be drowned out probably by the sound effects I have playing in the scene anyways. My main issue is just that one of his eyes is out, because though I could just unplug the eyes and so they don't light up, then that also unplugs these lights, which zap him when he makes his electrocution sounds and the growling, and that's one of the coolest parts of his activation. And so I don't want to unplug his headlights, so I'm just going to have to kind of deal with one of the eyes not lighting up. But it's not a big deal. I mean, he's a laboratory experiment. He may have some weird thing where he's blind in one eye. I don't know. It's not too big of a deal. I just wanted to point that out just so you guys know ahead of time, so you're not asking in the comments why isn't one of his eyes working, stuff like that. But it's not a big deal because he still works perfectly, so I'm still happy about that, and he'll still do great in the haunt, because I mean, you can't do a laboratory themed haunt without having a Frankenstein monster, and luckily I do. And I have Eddie, but he's going in the other section. But yeah, this is the key main Frankenstein monster in the haunt this year, so I'm glad that he works. Okay, so here's the whole scene in the dark so far with a little bit of fog coming out. Oh, I love it. I love it so much. I'm super happy with this. The lights look perfect, and my theory about Maniac covering this light up a bit was correct. It's not as bright, and that's good. And I think this light looks really cool, shining on Razortail and Reanimated Corpse. I hate how the camera gets out of focus every time it flickers, but just kind of have to deal with that. I really, really like this, though. I really like this entire scene so far. I can't wait to get the mildew fog scent and test it out. But yeah, this is pretty freaking cool. I like it. Okay, so no more haunt progress is going to be done today, but I want to mention something about these lights. First off, look at how creepy Razortail's shadow looks. I love that. That is horrifying. But one thing I want to mention is that when the lights are synced up properly and one light goes out and the other is still on, his shadow, because of where he's positioned in the room, it moves to the other side. And so it gives the illusion that Razortail's actually moving if you just look at the shadows, and it's horrifying. And if you can see, on the right side, you can kind of see it if you look close enough. That shadow sometimes just flickers for a second. Here, let me move Maniac out of the way, and actually let me position this light more towards Razortail, and then maybe you'll be able to see it a bit better. But it's pretty freaking creepy. You can kind of see it flicker for a second on the right side if you just take a look. Yeah, it's very hard to see because this light's a lot dimmer. I will try my best to make it visible, but it's kind of hard. But it's freaking creepy. Just take a look at the right side of him. Oh, it's so hard to capture it on camera. I'm so sorry, guys. But it's horrifying in person. It's honestly creeping me out because it looks like Razortail is either moving his head or he's moving across the room or he's doing something. I don't know. But it's freaking creepy looking. Oh, you can kind of see it better from this angle. But his shadow, just look over here. It moves to this side. Yeah, you can see it a little bit creep up. The lighting has to hit exactly right. And when it hits exactly right, it's too hard to see it on the camera because it gets too dark. But it's horrifying, I'll tell you that. And I'm honestly extremely creeped out by it. But I really like the lights. I love when they go back and forth. I love when they're not perfectly in sync and they go back and forth like this. Okay, that's cool. But anyways, that is going to include the haunt builds for today. A lot of progress was made today. I'm really happy with what was done. And I absolutely cannot wait for tomorrow. I don't know what's going to be done. Hopefully that UFO will be completed. I know for a fact this wall is going to be put up. That divider wall is going to be put up. We'll see what else gets done. Maybe the containment unit will be started, but I'm thinking that will more so happen later this week. But either way, I'm super excited for tomorrow. I hope you all enjoyed this Nightmare House 2020 The Experiments haunt build video. Keep howling at the moon, my werewolves.